Hey friendlies, I'm Carolyn and welcome back to my RV life. I am live here, well I'm not live, but I'm here at the RTR. I just did my talk a little while ago at the women's meeting and it's Friday, so I just kind of wanted to say hi and kind of check in from the RTR. I am just sitting in my rig right now. I don't know, maybe I'll clip in some of the pictures I took around the RTR. Yeah, I'll do that. Because a lot of you, I'm seeing a lot of videos about RTR and everybody wants to know what's going on and how it's going. And so far, so good. There's, I made a mistake. You know, Bob was like, there's a lot more room out there than you saw. And yeah, there is a ton of room out here. And so come on out. There's a ton of room. Yeah, of course, around the main camp, it's really impacted and there are a lot of people there. There's also a lot of people camped in what used to be the old RTR area. But if you venture outside of the main areas, you'll find actual open space, So come on out. I did my talk. It was my first event. I haven't attended any events, but I did my talk for the women's meeting and it was awesome. It was so great to just be a part of it and just had a wonderful audience, and so I really enjoyed that. And no, I didn't record it, but stay tuned. I have some things in mind for the next year that I think some of you are really gonna like, but I need to give it more thought before I talk about it. But yeah. But anyway, I didn't tape it, but there's a good chance you'll hear it, or you'll have opportunities to hear that talk. I really enjoyed the talk, so I think I might do more with it, and more on that later. Yeah, I need to relax. I need to take some downtime. I've been on a lot, really enjoying meeting people, but I've been on a lot. But I was just sitting here kind of catching up on work and reading the comments from the Spot video. And I had a feeling when I did that video that there was going to be some misunderstanding and that maybe I had miscommunicated some things. But I thought, nah, people will figure it out. But I guess I didn't do a good enough job of explaining. So I want to answer some of the questions I'm seeing about Spot. The Spot Save Our Vehicle. I'll put a link to the video up here. I just did a video about it a couple days ago. So one of the biggest misunderstandings that I'm seeing about that is that the pressing the button didn't work. That's not what I said. I said the button did work. They just called me after I had already figured everything else out with the other. So it was a completely different department that called me. So yes, they did respond. They just didn't respond as soon. They respond. It took them a while to respond. Let's put it that way. And I'm impatient and I didn't want to sit there and wait. And the reason I did that, well, part of the reason I used it, even though I had a cell signal, when I realized I had a cell signal, is because I wanted to test it, because I wanted to test it for you guys and for myself, because I wanted to know, and it was a really good way to test it. I wanted to know, is it going to work when I'm out in the middle of nowhere and I don't have a cell signal? So it was a really, really good test. And I also got to see how long am I going to have to wait for them? So here's how it works. So when you have the Spot and you're in a situation where you need help for your vehicle, you push the button, the first thing they are going to do is call the phone number that's on file. So when you get your Spot device, you will then go online to find me Spot and you will fill out a profile. You will put your contact information, a secondary contact information. You will also put your vehicle information on your profile online. So what happens then when you push the button and say, I need help, I need you, I'm stuck or whatever, you push the button, the Save Our Vehicle button, and that alerts them that you need roadside assistance. This is what happens. They get the signal, they get your GPS coordinate. The first thing they do is try to call you at the number that you have given as your primary number. If they can't reach you on that number, they will call your secondary number. And, if your secondary number is your emergency contact or whatever, if they reach somebody, they'll say, hey, they'll try to figure out what the situation is from that secondary number. If they can't figure out what the situation is from that secondary number, if they can't reach you on your first number, they will automatically send a flatbed out to you with the GPS coordinate that is sent when you push the button. So that is the process that they do. So when I said that I gave it 10 minutes, I pushed the button, I wasn't really sure, I waited 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, they haven't called me, and me being impatient, you know, realizing I had a cell signal and they hadn't called me, and me being impatient, I was like, okay, well, I have an internet connection, so I'm gonna go online just to make sure I did everything correctly. Because at that point I was like, did I fill out my profile? I thought I had. And I went online and I looked to make sure my profile was set up. Did I set up the type rig I have? Because you also need to do that because they want to know what they're dealing with. And I just went on and I wanted to, I'm not a detail-oriented person, and so when I signed up for it, I didn't read the details. I didn't really read. I read I read a little bit, but I didn't read a lot. I don't go into details. But when I needed it, of course, then I'm going to read the details. And so when I went on and I was looking at my profile and like reading up on how it works and everything, I found a 1-800 number, and I still hadn't heard from them. So I'm like, okay, I'll call the 1-800 number. So I called them and I was like, I pushed the button, but I haven't heard from them. It's been about 10 minutes, and they were like, okay, let's check on that. And they're like, oh yeah, we're seeing it. We're seeing the signal. We're seeing that you pushed the button. And I was like, okay, well, just forget about that, and I'll deal with it with you now. And when and if they call me, I'll just tell them that I have already dealt with it through the 1-800 number. He's like, okay. So he takes my information, finds out where I am, what kind of terrain I'm on, what kind of road I'm on, and he's like, okay, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna contact he's like, wow, you're really out in the middle of nowhere, is kind of what he said. He said, all right, well, we're gonna contact some tow services in the area, and we will let you know. Once we find somebody, we will send you a text to let you know how long it's going to be before they arrive. And I was like, okay, great. So I hang up the phone and I'm kind of, you know, just outside wandering around, and maybe 10 minutes later, so 20 minutes in total after I pushed the button, they called me in response to pushing the button, and they were like, hey, we got a service call from you. Are you in a safe place? And all the stuff they asked. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm fine, but I've already called the 1-800 number because I had a cell signal. They're like, oh, okay. They're like, I'm so sorry, you know, we would have called you sooner, but we had a little bit of a glitch in the system, you know, a little bit of a glitch. And yeah, I know, that's kind of weird. And, you know, it's not really, comforting, really, to think that, okay, I could be out in the middle of nowhere and there could be a glitch in the system. But it was just a glitch. Both the guy on the phone said, yeah, we have your signal. They said, yeah, we have their signal. And the glitch was just, I guess, in how long they were. But somebody did get back to me. Worst case scenario, you know, I push the button if I'm out in the middle of nowhere and 2 hours nobody shows up. I push the button again. You know, eventually somebody's going to come and get me. I mean, I didn't feel like they were negligent in any way. I just felt like, okay, you know what? Stuff happens. I don't know. Spot contracts out the service that I called, NDS or something they're called. So they contract out that service. Anyway, I just feel like there was a lot of miscommunication and a lot of fear, oh my God, around that. It wasn't a big deal. And so I told them when they call, I'm like, yeah, I already called the 1-800 number and the tow truck is on the way. And they're like, okay, great. You know, happy to hear that everything worked out. Is there anything else we can do for you? And I'm like, no, I'm good. And they're like, okay, well, if you need anything else, just give us a call. So then I got, I think within a half hour, no, not even, maybe within 20 minutes of the phone call, I got a text saying the tow truck will be there in 45 minutes. So 15 minutes before the tow truck is supposed to show up, I get a call from the service. They actually called me and they were like, so sorry, we had the contracted tow company out of Quartzsite, the closest one, is all of a sudden reneging on their contract rates, and they're wanting to charge us a ridiculous amount of money. I have elevated it to our elevation team because we really are working. We need to get somebody out there to you, and so I've raised it to our elevation team or whatever they called it, and we will get you somebody. I promise. I'm so sorry. Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm fine. I got my home. I have everything I need. I'm fine. And he's like, okay, we're working on it. Just let you know, want to let you know that we're there. And so I hung up, and I think within half hour, I got another text saying, or he called me back and said, we found a new company. They're a little further away, and you'll be getting a text from us in a few minutes, from them in a few minutes, letting you know how long it'll be for them to get there. So they sent me a text saying 45 minutes. will be there, I think, in an hour or something like that. The tow truck driver then ended up calling me, I think an hour later, saying, I'm sorry, we've had a crazy day. I'm just now leaving Blythe, so it was another hour, or something like that. It ended up being a couple hours, maybe 2.5 hours that I had to wait. But you know what? Whatever, so what? Big deal. I have my home. I have everything I need. No big deal. It's not like I really had anywhere to be. And, the only thing is I was worried about having to do it in the dark, but he had a big, huge light and headlights, and it worked out just fine. So I feel like there was just a lot of misunderstanding about that. They did respond to me pushing the button within 20 minutes. That's not bad, I don't think, right? I mean, that's not bad. 20 minutes. I mean, I only called because I'm impatient. And maybe I wasn't clear about that. So I think that was the biggest concern, the biggest question that people had. That they really thought that Spot wasn't coming out to help me when I pushed the button, and that is absolutely not the case. They were coming out to help me. 20 minutes. And that means, and she's like, sorry, there was a little glitch that caused the delay. So that means they would have gotten, they would have tried to call me, or they would have called me, since I had a cell signal, within 20 minutes. And that's really why I tested it with a cell signal. I really wanted to see how it worked. And in my opinion, I think that's pretty darn good. So no, I did not get paid. They did not sponsor me. I gave what I thought was an honest assessment. I just maybe am a little more forgiving than some people. And patient on some level. I mean, I wasn't patient enough to wait, but I was patient enough to not stress about the fact that, the first tow truck they had issues with. I mean, it was a tow truck company out of Quartzsite who wanted to charge them like $1,000 to come and get me. And their contract, which was like triple their contracted rate. And that's, I'm totally like okay with that, I mean, if somebody wants to exploit if somebody wants to exploit a situation, here is this company, they've got a customer who's stuck in the sand. I was off-road, it was a precarious situation, and then somebody wants to exploit that by not honoring a contracted price and charging 3 times as much. I'm totally cool with that. There's a part of me that's like, you know what, I'm the customer, you should have done whatever it could. But, you know what, no. I mean, to be taken advantage of by somebody, no. I don't think that was cool at all. So I was willing to wait, and the tow truck company that came out was awesome. So, I could name the company in Quartzsite, but the last time I named a company, it didn't end well for the other company, so I'm not going to do that. But I will tell friends and stuff. I will tell people I meet here if they want a tow truck company. I will tell them the story about this particular. Just look for a tow truck company in Quartzsite, and you'll be able to figure it out. But I would not recommend that tow truck company because I think that's really bad business. I hope that clears it up. Yes, the Spot worked exactly as it was supposed to. I pushed the button I was supposed to. They called me like they were supposed to. They sent out a tow truck like they were supposed to. I just jumped the gun on it and went ahead and called because I was unsure of myself. I wasn't sure whether I had done everything properly. That's just me not being a detail-oriented person. And for those of you who are detail-oriented, I hope that you'll go to the website and read up on it a lot better than I did. And as far as the RTR, I look forward to seeing many, many more of you out here. There are a lot of people out here. My meet and greet is going to be on Sunday after my boondocking seminar from about noon to 1:30. In the main section, and then I will figure out from there, depending on how many people show up and how long the line is and all of that, we'll figure out what we're going to do for the next one. So stay tuned right here on this channel for more information about my meet and greet at the RTR2019 in Quartzsite, Arizona. I look forward to meeting as many of you as I can. I love meeting you, and it's just been an awesome experience being here. And if you want more videos about my adventures and my travels and all the things that I do and my lessons and my philosophies on life, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. And I look forward to seeing many of you very soon in the next few days, and the rest of you, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, be happy, be free, and be kind. I'll see you soon.